Fuck. Listen, okay, I wrote that bit back in October last year, and it is the best part of the set. My stand-up set is like sex with me, in that you get all the good bits in the first 10 to 15 seconds, and after that it's just a man trying to recreate the 1970s for 8 minutes. But yeah, it's the best part of the set, and I didn't want it ruined by any kind of armistice or anything. So I've been spending the last few months in a desperate attempt to save my failing comedy career, buying shares in Israeli state telecom and using the dividends to funnel weapons to Hamas. I'm like the Henry Kissinger of amateur comedy. I'm not like the Henry Kissinger of amateur comedy. I'm a political science student, and I've actually been developing a new universal political theory. I know, a phrase that is normally followed by the sound of gunfire in the invasion of Poland. But no, this theory of politics is actually graph-based. I know, graph-based comedy for a room full of Oxford students who probably masturbate to the stock market. This graph has 2 axes. On the y-axis, how lovely a politician's policies are. On the x-axis, how fun they are on a night out. As you can see, it's an entirely inverse correlation. Let's plot some people. Up here, lovely policies, horrendous night out, Jeremy Corbyn. You start off with 2 pints of Guinness down the lamb and disappointment at 7:30, in bed by 9. He'd spend the entire evening picking white flecks of Guinness foam out of his beard like an anti-Semitic Santa Claus. Although, to be fair to Santa Claus, he hasn't clarified his view on the Middle Eastern situation yet with a poorly cropped Instagram text post. So we can only assume he wants to meet in the middle, have a reasoned discussion, and nuke Somalia. Moving further down, middling policies, middling night out, David Cameron. You'd end up at Attic, he'd take a girl home and spend the entire evening convincing her that the clitoris was somewhere behind the left knee. I was out with Big David, Big Davo, at Attic the other night, actually. And we got, I used to go out with him quite a lot last year, and it was actually where I met my girlfriend. It was on a night out with David Cameron in Attic. And we've been getting on really well, but she said to me the other day, Kit, you know, I love you, but you've got the same problem as Dave. You're really bad in bed, you can't find my clitoris. He said, it's okay, we can go out to a cafe and have a chat about it. She took me to the missing bean, which I thought was uncalled. And right down at the bottom, terrible policies, but an amazing night out, Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, I was in a gay sex club in 1980s Tel Aviv the other weekend, actually. And I locked eyes with a man across the room, and I went to go and talk to him, and it was actually Benjamin Netanyahu in a big gay leather bondage strap. And I went home and we had gay sex. And it was really great, but the morning after, I said, Benjamin, I need to go to work. Can you get out of my bed? And a very strange thing happened there, was that he lay there and claimed that it was in fact his bed, and that it had in fact always been his bed. And I said, that's my bed. And he said, no it isn't, it's mine. And this went on for about 4 hours, at the end of which I had no choice but to nuke Somalia again. Have we got any heroin addicts in the audience? No, I thought not. I really hate the narrative that the right wing have of the lazy heroin addicts sitting around polishing their needles all day like a particularly dedicated acupuncturist. There was no one, and I mean no one in our society harder working than a heroin addict. They have skills that the rest of the population entirely lack. You, sir, if I asked you right now to give me 12 kilograms of copper and a catalytic converter, what would you do? Yeah, that's right, fucking nothing. Or you, madame, if I asked you at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday to get me 4 washing machines, you'd be fucking lost. Ask a junkie, ask Skaggy Steve round the back of Tesco the same question. You have 2 on your lawn before you can say county lines. Listen, I can feel a tension in the room after that Benjamin Netanyahu joke. I want you to feel safe. We're not going to do any more risky geopolitics stuff. So I was in the late colonial Raj the other weekend, and I was helping the Viceroy navigate the breakup of the British Empire. And he says to me, Kit, you've helped me break up Punjab. You've helped me break up Bengal. how would you break up cashmere? I said, well, I'd use fabric pins and some rotary scissors. And he said, what? And I said, well, I would use the fabric pins to pin cashmere to a board, and then I would divide it with rotary scissors. And he said, ah, I see what has happened here. You have clearly confused the disputed Central Asian mountainous province of Kashmir with the goat-based fabric from which it is named. And I said, have not. And he said, have to. I said, have not. And this went on for about 4 hours, at the end of which I had no option but to leave Somalia again. Speaking of fabrics, actually, I had to go drop off some curtains at my vicar's church the other day. When I walked in there, the vicar was not in the priory. Instead, sat in his chair was an echidna. And the echidna was reading a copy of the Communist Manifesto. And I went up to the echidna and I said, why are you, an echidna, reading the Communist Manifesto in a priory? And he said, well, where else would I read it? Good, I was testing you. Now, on the Kashmir topic, I do have linguistic troubles. I really have trouble with idioms. I don't understand them. As the crow flies, I really struggle with that one. My college gives you £100 every term if you live over 125 miles from Oxford, as the crow flies. And so I've been claiming it, but I got pulled into the dean's office yesterday and he said to me, Kit, we put your address in, and as the crow flies, you only live 68 miles away from Oxford. And I said, yes, but as the blind, disabled crow flies, I live 437 miles away. Straight from the horse's mouth. Don't like that one. I've learned through long experience in my life that you can never trust a horse. So I was in 4th century Troy the other weekend, actually. Thank you very much.